You know, there is a fear that sits deep within the heart of almost every single one of us. It's the greatest fear of mankind, really, the fear of death. Today, we're going to explore how to gently dissolve that fear, not with wishful thinking, but through the profound and timeless wisdom of the great spiritual master, Paramhansa Yogananda. Let's take this journey together.
Right at the very heart of this teaching is this incredible, almost mind-bending statement: you cannot die because you were never born. It's the key that unlocks this whole mystery. Yogananda said we've simply fallen asleep, you see, caught in a dream of human limitation. So let's explore what he truly meant by this and how we can begin to awaken.
For as long as we can remember, death has been this haunting shadow. It's an anxiety that quietly shapes so much of our lives, isn't it? The way we live, the way we love, and the way we suffer.
I mean, just look at how we behave. We weep at gravesides. We try so hard to cling to our youth. We're constantly trying to bargain for just a little more time. These aren't just random acts. They're the rituals of a species that is deeply afraid of what it sees as the end.
And this is where Yogananda asks this compassionate but incredibly piercing question. He's not judging. He's inviting us to look at this from a completely different angle. He's suggesting that maybe, just maybe, our fear doesn't come from the threat of our life ending, but from the fact that we haven't yet understood what it means to be truly alive.
Okay, so how do we start to reframe something so big? Well, Yogananda's first step is this beautifully simple metaphor: to think of our body not as who we are, but as something we temporarily wear. Think about it like this. Your body, it's like a coat, woven from atoms. And just like any coat, over time, it's going to wear out. It has a lifespan. But the soul, the soul is the wearer. That's the real you. And the soul is this conscious, eternal being that simply takes off the coat when its purpose is done. You are the wearer, my friend, not the worn. And he takes this beautiful idea even further. If life is a grand play and our body is just the costume we wear, then what we call death is simply the end of the show. The actor, the real you, takes a final bow and walks off the stage, completely unharmed, ready for the next great adventure.
So, we move from this beautiful metaphor to something even deeper, a fundamental truth. Let's talk about the eternal nature of consciousness itself. And what's so fascinating is that this idea is supported not just by ancient wisdom, but by the principles of modern science too.
Remember this from school? The law of conservation of energy. It's a basic principle of our universe. Nothing is ever really destroyed. It just changes form. The energy that makes up your body, every atom, has existed since the beginning of time. It's been stardust, a flower, who knows what else. The energy is constant. Which leads us to this profound, and I mean really profound question. If the physical energy that makes up our world is indestructible, how on earth could consciousness, the very intelligence that perceives and organizes all that energy, how could it just vanish? The great yogis say it can't. It is the one true constant. You know, the yogis have this beautiful Sanskrit word for our true nature, Satchidananda. It's a perfect description of what you are at your very core. It breaks down into three parts: Sat, ever existing; Chit, ever conscious; and Ananda, which means ever new bliss. This isn't something you have to go out and get. It's what you realize you have always been. And this isn't a new idea. Thousands of years ago, the great sage Shankaracharya affirmed this very same truth. The message, you see, has been consistent through the ages. What we think of as our self, this body, this personality, it's temporary. But the true self, the Atman, that is immortal. Okay, so understanding all of this with our minds is one thing. But how do we actually live it? How do we get rid of that deep-seated instinctual fear? Well, Yogananda provided a very practical, step-by-step path to experience this truth for ourselves. He laid out 5 luminous steps on this path. It's really a complete guide for turning fear into freedom. First, you realize your true nature through meditation. Then you remember death joyously, not with sadness. You practice conscious leaving. You learn to see God in all who have passed. And finally, you live so fully in that divine presence that fear just has nowhere left to hide. So that path begins with the first and most crucial step, meditation. And this isn't just about relaxing or calming your mind. No, this is about diving so deep inside your own consciousness that you go beyond your breath, beyond your body, and you have a direct, unshakable experience of your eternal nature. Yogananda said that just one genuine experience of this state, which is called samadhi, is enough to completely vaporize the fear of death forever.
And this is the ultimate goal. This is what he meant in step 5. It's not about ignoring or denying death. It's about becoming so filled with the joy and the love of the eternal that this little transition we call death becomes almost meaningless. You know with every fiber of your being that you are already living in that timeless reality.
Now for the final and maybe the most powerful piece of this puzzle, let's look at the example of Yogananda himself. He didn't just teach these principles, you see. He demonstrated them in his life and most profoundly in his own passing.
So, on March 7, 1952, after finishing a speech, Yogananda consciously, deliberately left his body. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a surprise, it was a planned departure. And what's absolutely remarkable, as the mortuary director later documented, is that his physical body showed no signs of decay for over 20 days. It was a testament to the life force he commanded.
This act actually has a specific name, Mahasamadhi. It is not death as we typically think of it. It's the final, voluntary exit of an enlightened soul from their physical form, a yogi's ultimate demonstration of complete mastery over life and death.
And this event, it served as his final teaching to the world. It was a physical, verifiable miracle left behind to prove that consciousness is supreme, and that death is truly, truly conquered by those who realize their own immortal self.
This beautiful metaphor really sums it all up, doesn't it? Death isn't a wall we crash into, it's just a horizon. It looks like an end, for sure, but it's only an illusion created by the limitations of our physical senses, the limits of our sight. And this is the real takeaway. This isn't just a fascinating story about a great master. This is a story about you. At your very core, you are this immortal awareness. You were not born when this body was born, and you will not die when this body passes away. You are untouched by time.
Just let this fearless promise sink in for a moment. All of life, all the joy, all the sorrow, the beginning and the apparent end, it's all part of a divine, cosmic play. And you are the eternal child of God, just playing a role, dreaming a dream from which you are absolutely destined to awaken.
This is the ultimate truth. It's not something that happens in some distant future or in some far-off heaven. It's true right here, right now. You are immortal, and you always will be. The only thing that ever truly dies is the fear that you could.